Welcome to an episode of JNA News Dash, where two full-time realtors become part-time newcasters. And yes,
so today we don't have Jervis because he's on another meeting.
Yes.
So if you want Jervis back, you can vote number 1 in the comment box below. If you don't want Jervis back, vote number 2.
All right. Yeah, there are two of us here today.
Okay.
And yes, it's the first time doing this and my first time hosting. So let's see how it turns out.
Okay.
So Jeremy, what do we have on the table today?
Okay, so first up, we are seeing that Singapore's property auctions dipped in Q2 of 2022 despite rising interest rates. So I think a lot of people, whenever I'm conducting viewings or we are meeting investment buyers, they're always asking, hey, how's the property market? People with the rising interest rates, are people selling their property at a lower price?
Is it fire sale, right?
Yeah, is it fire sale? So a lot of people are asking, hey, is the property price going to drop? But here we are seeing that the auction listings have dropped to 62, which is a 15% decline from last quarter.
Yes.
And then mortgage listings dropped to 18. So that is a 35% drop from last quarter as well. So now they are saying that, because currently in the open market, a lot of buyers are actually still looking for properties. And they are actually still able to sell it at a good price in the open market. So they actually don't have to go to the bank to foreclose it.
Yes, in fact, for auction listing and mortgage is very different. Auction is just, I go to auction to actually list, as the word suggests.
Yeah.
Then mortgage is very like people who default mortgage and have to pay, they can't pay by the bank, so they get back. So in fact, 18 mortgage listing is very little. There's so many property in Singapore selling and it's just a very small fraction.
Correct.
Yeah, and this is very true because we have been analysing the market for myself, very into numbers, sleeping 1.5 hour a night. I was sharing a kilo that day. And we
Look at his eye bags.
Yes, I need some beauty therapy. If any good service, let me know. I'm more than happy to engage him for News Dash. Okay? And what we noticed is that the property bubble in Singapore is actually very low.
Yeah.
In fact, in 2021, it was at 0.52, okay, as compared to Hong Kong going close to 2, which is very, very high. And if 0.5 and below, it means it's fair value. And 2022, even with property price rising, the property bubble dropped from 0.5 to 0.5, even more non-existent. And this is something that it shows a very strong fundamentals for Singapore real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think on top of that, we are still having a strong rental market now, which are actually able to help the owners to fund their mortgage payments every month.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so for buyers not being able to pay their rent, it's quite
rare.
Quite rare in this market.
And in fact, the holding period went up to 9 years today.
Correct.
With no rental, nothing, people in Singapore, CPF, they can still pay.
Yes.
So it's a good news.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so I think recently there was the implementation of ABSD for foreigners at 60%. And a lot of the buyers and sellers are also asking me, how's the market now? You know, foreigners cannot buy. Is it affecting the market? So now we're actually seeing the actual, more accurate result compared to the last 2 months because now we are seeing the actual result. I mean, since last 2 months, it was just implemented recently. We can't really see the actual effect on the market. So now let's take a look. Okay, so total private non-landed homes bought by foreigners declined by 22% compared to Q1 of 2023. So this is after the implementation of ABSD. And I think before this was implemented, the majority of buyers were actually China buyers for foreigners, followed by Americans and then Indonesians. But now, after the ABSD is implemented, actually a lot of the buyers, majority are Americans. Yeah,
like like Olympic swimming contest. Now it's like, US taking over China.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact,
so US has taken over China now.
In the lead.
Yes. So actually this is also because of the free trade agreement. So indeed. Even though Americans, they are foreign buyers, but they actually enjoy the free trade agreement and they actually pay 0% ABSD on their first property. Indeed. Just like Singaporeans.
Yeah. And in fact, recently we have more calls from American buyers and we just hop on a call from someone who is American Chinese. So it's like, he's like a Chinese but American citizenship. And what they did is, fun fact, they actually can even borrow loan using American income. So it's something that really, I mean, people have been knowing about Singapore, looking for somewhere where they can park their money that can save growth as compared to New York where they say the price is getting sky high and perhaps you have a bubble. And in the first place, interestingly, if you look at the numbers again, 6.9% before this ABSC came out, it was actually on the low side. Now it dropped to 4.2. It's still not too wide. And a lot of them do have free trade agreement. So this is a very strong indication of demand for foreigner in private homes in Singapore.
And to answer questions on whether or not this will affect the entire Singapore property market, answer is it actually depends on where foreigners were purchasing previously. If you're looking at maybe Sentosa Cove, you're looking at maybe some of the larger quantum of orchard properties, then yes, we do see some impact currently.
Yes, indeed. For a bigger quantum listing.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So next
we have Singapore tightening restrictions on commercial and residential land for foreigners. What do you think about this?
Oh, wow, this is a very big news for some of the commercial players because now commercial residential zone, okay, for land zone, last time they don't fall under the Residential Property Act. They actually don't have to apply for LDO approval. But right now, to safeguard the residential land for Singaporean citizens, all this land that originally can be bought by foreigner easily, they have to apply for LDO approval. So it's another barrier of entry. And this even apply for some of the properties, which is interesting, like shopping centers, hotels, and mixed-use office and residential building. Like for example, there's this place at Fort Canning called UE Square. Like it's a mixed-use residential and commercial. Even this, if a developer want to buy over, unlike last time, it's like full commercial zone, don't have to apply. Now you have to. So it creates some restriction. So that's something that we are more worried about.
Yeah.
And for yourself, like now commercial wise, what do you think will impact the market for you?
I mean, honestly, we have seen, especially the past few years, after the implementation of ABSD on foreigners, a lot of them are turning to commercial.
Yep.
But now we do foresee that, there may be some tightening of restrictions on commercial because foreigners are now flooding going into commercial properties.
Yes.
And now we do see some slight restrictions that's going into commercial, and I do see that with this we do see some impact on commercial in the next few years.
Yes, in fact, for short-term period, what I foresee is commercial for blue side, completely blue, right? The like black blue, like this kind of blue. It's not affected by this ruling. It means pure commercial, like shop houses.
Yeah.
So you may see more for short-term flow of money going into that kind of sector.
Yeah.
But as time goes by, okay, my little crystal ball prediction, I'm not the best at it, is they may end up having some more restriction for commercial in the future if they notice that the foreigner are taking up units. And I'm talking to one of the top commercial broker recently, and we noticed that over the years, the past decade, the number of people buying the commercial have been tiered towards foreigner than locals. Yeah. So that's why government is a little more worried nowadays, and they may want to protect the Singaporean ownership. Yeah. So yes, that's something that we can foresee in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I've also met with some Indonesians who were asking me about commercial because they cannot buy residential.
Yes,
and these were some of the investment assets that we were actually recommending to foreigners because there's no ABSD. But now we do see the trend that they are moving towards commercial, and we do see the restrictions that's going to be implemented.
Yes.
But good thing is this is actually to protect Singaporeans and the citizens so that we can still safeguard their interests as well.
Yep, indeed. And if I'm buying commercial, I guess it's a very important timing around this timing and to take a look at it. All right. So yes.
Okay. So profits soaring for ECs compared to prime properties that has actually been declining in the second quarter of 2023.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of people always ask us, hey, I want to invest in D9, 10, D15, thinking that these areas are always the best investment assets or location to invest in. But if we are looking at the recent news, ECs in OCR saw 4 of the top 5 most profitable resale deals in percentage gain. Of course, if we are looking at quantum-wise, then the CCR market is still the biggest because of how expensive properties are in that sector. But if you're looking in terms of percentage, OCR ECs, specifically in Wonder Vale and Soul Acres, have made the highest gains in this past quarter.
There's a percentage, some range of 86 to 93%. Wow. But take note, this is sometimes holding the units for
slightly
longer. Can be up to 8 years for some, 3 years to build and 5 years MOP. So there's something to take note. Although it's it looks good, but it's a longer period of holding period, which should discern.
So in this case, we're actually looking at an average of 6.5 years. Yeah, so we have actually met a couple Soul Acres owners who actually came to us to ask us about restructuring their assets. And we saw the gains that they've made. It's definitely something that some people wouldn't expect from an EC. We saw about 500k of capital gains from the past 5 years.
When you bought 800, now 500k. So it's about
now about 1.2, 1.3 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
So I think what we learned from this is most importantly is the entry price, not always the location.
Yeah, indeed. So because in Wonderville made the best, but in terms of the entry price and the right, you can exit at the right price. And fun fact, talking about EC, that's fun fact for my side. Near to this place, Wonderville, which I don't name that particular EC, things always happen to me. My car got clamped. In one of the car, and I know it's a fun fact. It's just the car park lot.
Yes. You got clamped there.
Yeah, clamped there. And the funny part, because it was very confusing. It was a red and yellow, so I can't differentiate red or yellow. And they say, please park at level 4. Level 4, but they pointed to the car park lot level 4. The level 4 and level 3, then the sign was on there. So then I got clamped. Then I was rushing my appointment. Then I paid $100 just to remove the clamp, and they refused to pay me back the
100% loss for
100% loss. Yeah. So if you are in some of the EC nearby Wonderville, I won't name the EC because I don't have a bad rep. Please take note. Car park very important. Okay, but that aside, something to note is in terms of capital gains, you really want to look at long-term growth. Of course, a landed or even CCR property may have a better returns in terms of capital growth. Some high-con listing like this place called Ardmore Park. Wow, beautiful place, very old, very antique, but wow, price went up.
Yeah, price went up so much. I think especially in the Ardmore area, those with bigger floor plates, those of you who are looking to invest in CCR, bigger floor plates always make the most.
4-5 million. Wow, it's crazy.
But most importantly, still entry price, right?
Entry price, correct.
Yeah.
Right. So with that, we have come to the end of News Dash.
Yes.
Like how dashing is very fast. It's just short and sharp. I don't know whether Geraldine here this kind of joke is like laughing at me all the time.
But Penny was saying that Chris's dad's joke is worse than her dad's jokes.
Wow. Okay. I'm improving. I'm trying to make it more fun, but people say I'm nervous. I look Joey's not here, they say that I'm nervous. They say things like, hey, when Joey's not here, I'm just like, so one small step for Christian, one big step for JNA News Dash. Yeah, so okay, progress. Okay. Yes. So we come to the end of JNA News Dash. My name is Christian.
My name is Geraldine.
See you next week.